Boom. Shalaka-laka boom. Shalaka-laka boom. Hi. I am getting sick. I can feel it. I feel fine. Look fine, don't I? Toot your own horn, Bondzee. 30 seconds into the show. Good for you. Hi, Gwen. Thanks for joining the show. It's Bondzee Live on Trippin' with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. Now, I say the Dean Blundell Network loosely because we're having issues on the Twitter feed with the Dean Blundell Network. So what they did for me tonight was they just retweeted my live Twitter feed that I'm going to tonight. And so you can find it all over the place. I really hope I'm not getting sick. I have so many scripts to read. I can feel it. It's like, I don't know if you can hear it, but this voice is going. Doesn't help. I don't shut the hell up all day long from 7 in the morning until 10 at night. Scripts have been in abundance lately, which is okay because it's cheddar in the bank. But Aaron Brown says, no way on time. We were about a minute late. I refuse to start the show exactly at 6:00 or 6 Pacific time where I am in California. 9 p.m. on the East Coast. It's also, let's go through it all, 7. Oh, I'm not even on the right mic on. Look at this bullshit. Fucking producer doesn't even tell me, hey, Bondzee, you sound a little shit. That's got to sound way better, doesn't it? Holy. Dean fired you and forgot to tell you.
I could have said you look like shit, but
I don't look like shit, though. I feel great, looking great, eating healthy, gymming it. Got me a tennis racket I did yesterday and some tennis balls. And it's funny because there's tennis courts here, and I've stared at them. What's wrong with you, Gregory? I've been staring at them for months and months. And I was like, well, I got nobody to play with. But then it dawned on me. Dummy, there's a wall on the backside of the courts. You can play with yourself. And not just on the bus. Now I can play with myself in the tennis world. It's amazing. I can't wait. Let me fire up the show on Facebook, too. There, I got the volume. Facebook, which I'm not supposed to be broadcasting on. Producer Jason got really upset with me. But throwing a dog a bone for Halloween. Plus, we're not running hot live on the Dean Blundell Network right now. See, Sheeple Shepherd podcast knows. He says, you're so handsome, Bondzee. Aaron Brown says, got to give it a minute to burp then on air. I think my folks are tuning in tonight, so I'm trying to be a good boy and I'll tell you why. We've got as you can see on the bottom here, we're scrolling. It's I said it last show, so we got it set up. We set up an email. It's the best way to not have to pay any fees for setting up like links and stuff for PayPal, unless they take some ched. But here we go. So my parents raise money every single year for Ronald McDonald's sick kids because their grandson, 7 weeks old, had a heart attack, died like 3 or 4 times in a couple of days, had open heart surgery, and so you can only imagine how that went. My brother and his wife at the time spent a shit ton of time in Sick Kids Hospital. So we're forever grateful for Sick Kids, not for putting up with my brother. They should get a medal in its own right, especially that bitch wife is too. Holy crap. I just kidding. You can't say that. Kind of did. But they did save my nephew's life. I love that little kid to death, and he's a rock star. So my parents go absolutely all out every single Halloween. I don't even know I've never lived around the area. I've always been super far away from my parents, so I don't even know so many hours go into this, and I've never been a part of it. But I have been there. I just haven't been there for the setup and takedown. But that's what my little brother's for. He's shot out of a cannon every day. Anyways, my boy, Ryan Lindsay from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast, I believe he's going by there on Sunday to interview my parents for me and really showcase it on Halloween and get it all when it's all lit up, and it looks amazing. They do a great job. Anyways, every single last penny goes to Ronald McDonald House for sick kids. So please, folks, if you can find it in your heart, if you've got a few bucks, and like I said, it's the old cliche, every penny counts. So if you can afford like $5, $10, anything would really help. So it's HalloweenRMHC@gmail.com. And if you donate to that wonderful cause, help out my parents' sick kids hospital, you'll be entered in a draw. Guess what you can win? Tripping with Bondzee. I should have. Where's the sample? I don't have it nearby. Sorry. But you can win a signed, autographed Tripping with Bondzee t-shirt. And they're pretty fancy, I would like to say. So there. We would have had the pictures in the system, but we were supposed to jump platforms today to restream. That didn't happen. And there's so many reasons why. But listen, folks, coming up in about 8 minutes from now, maybe a little more, 10 minutes. We got Theo Fleury, former NHL star, Hockey Hall of Famer, a wonderful guy. He's been through so much. Holy shit. But it's no secret. He was sexually molested in the WHL, and he's come clean. He's been a raging alcoholic, drug addict, you name it. But he also went on to score 1,000 points in the NHL, played 1,000 games in the NHL, and won an Olympic gold medal along with the Stanley Cup, by the way. So pretty amazing career for and I'm already jumping ahead here, but pretty amazing career for a guy who was told he'll never make it because of his size, because of everything. And he gave it the big old double gun salutes to those guys. And he's like, I'm saying too much. Well, you'll hear it later. All right. What else? So yeah, please go donate. It make me mum so happy. She'd be like, "Oh, Gregory Scott, it's about bloody time you stepped up to the plate and helped out with this Halloween nonsense. Because you're never around. You're always frolicking about in the Nicaragua and all these other places, California, blah, blah, blah." There she is. Bless her heart. That's Sarge, everybody. Sarge is a piece of work. I love her immensely. And then me dad, just one of the most amazing men on the entire planet. They are the salt of the earth. They have traveled the world. They have donated their time to Haiti. I think 3 or 4 times they've been there on missions. One of them church mission things, if you will. They are such wonderful people, and lest you think that they're going to steal your money, stuff further to say, they're the most honest people in the entire world. So please donate and help out Sarge. Oh, thank you very much, Gregory. I miss you. I do. Sort of. I'd wish you stopped swearing on that show. It could be such a good show. Fuck. Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. That's enough. It's enough, Gregory. What if she's watching? I told her to watch right away, and I said I wouldn't swear. So that's all I'm going to say. All right. No more swear words. Please go donate. All right. What else we got? Great guest coming up. Next week, action-packed show. Monday, Haley Mather. Gonna fully get into some vax and stuff. We're gonna talk about her wonderful modeling career. We're gonna talk about her musical career. We're gonna talk. She got the vaccine and she's messed up. Menstrual cycle's all out of whack. She's in an intense pain, like me. I was 6 weeks. Wasted 6 weeks in California. I did. And listen, I know it's the right thing to do, and I did the right thing, but I'm upset with the fact that the problems with the vaccine are being hidden. That's all. They are. They're being hidden, and it's bullshit. Why can't we talk about it? Some people are going to have adverse effects. Why should we hide that? Why is it being so hush? Makes me wonder. Anyways, we'll get into that with Haley. Wednesday, my boy, Jeremy Taggart, formerly of Our Lady Peace. Now he is in one of the greatest podcasts in Canada, actually. Taggart and Torrance podcast. There it is right there. This guy's a trip, man. I don't know if Jeremy Taggart's a really funny dude. He's very educated, and he's just smart and down to earth. Anyways, can't wait to talk to him on Bondzee Live. It's going to be fantastic. And then hopefully next Friday we get Reggie back. My boy Reggie has been a couple of different things, but now this week has got to work extra overtime because the COVID's hitting here. And I hope that's not what I'm getting, because I don't have a sore throat or anything like that, but I'm starting to feel raspy. Now, I don't know if it's because, I've been talking all day and doing a ton of scripts and shows and everything, but Andy Safair, sorry I missed that, but your parents have a great Halloween setup. Thank you very much, bro. Childhood buddy right there. He knows all about it. Wade Holloway, he's never afraid to make comments on this show. He says, Glassy needs to bleep your swearing. A paid producer would probably do. I agree. That's why he makes the big bucks that he doesn't. $0.0, as a matter of fact. Pretty good pay, if you ask me. What else? I'm watching the baseball game right now. It's actually playing without buffering. 0-0 if you're a baseball fan. Houston, Atlanta. Probably MLB's worst nightmare of a matchup in the World Series, if you will. Houston Astros, cheating bastards. And then Atlanta. So go Atlanta. Rah, sis boom ba Atlanta. I'll jump on that bandwagon for this. Our old general manager went there. So many great. Batista went there, I believe, and played for a while. So did Josh Donaldson as well, if memory serves me correct. I was here where Nick Reed. He's way more up to date on that kind of stuff. All right, so Reggie, yeah, he'll be back hopefully next week. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we're booked solid. All right, can't wait. Let's get to some videos and stuff real quick. I promoted. There's 3 videos that I really need to show before we get to this interview with Theo Fleury coming up in about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, Glassy, let's do what you get not paid for and roll them. Let's go. These are, folks. At least this one is. Watch this. So the guy swimming. Wow, pegou ele. And
Nossa, pegou o braço
I don't
dele.
even know what the hell it is. One of them things.
Perigo.
Reptile-y things. Guy was just swimming.
Machucou o braço aí?
Croc comes up on him, bites him. The guy is not even in a hurry. Like, he just casually gets out. Then he stands there. Oh, look, I got bit in the shoulder. Caleb Verga, man. Like, I don't know about you, but I would have turned into Michael Phelps, Toot Sweet. Then I would have turned into Donovan Bailey. You wouldn't have seen my ass for dust, bro. That guy's just like, oh, shit, got bit by a crocodile. No big deal. That guy's my hero. Play that again, will you, one time? It's crazy. Watch this. Fuck the one. I watch it, so he's swimming. Bro,
Pegou, o jacaré pegou ele.
fully bit.
Nossa, pegou o braço dele. Perigo.
Oh, okay. Well, that might hurt.
Machucou o braço aí?
Adida. Bro, I wouldn't even been on camera. Would have been gone in the next county. Look at this guy. Oh, shit. And then he just stands there. I don't know. I can't comprehend that video. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. Okay, folks, this is sad. Let me preface this story because all we have is the video. But this pigeon was nursed back to health by this lovely family in jolly old England, where me mom and dad are from. And they did such a great job. And you can hear the daughter. She's so excited to let this pigeon free. He's gonna go and live, frolic, and eat popcorn in Central, or no, that's New York City. What's in London? That park where all the pigeons go. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Watch this.
Just make sure I get this.
Big countdown. Ready?
2.
Go! You fly, pigeon, fly!
Is it okay?
It's okay. No, it's bloody dead.
It's alive.
Yo, my guy. Whoa. I'm not done. Not done the bit. We shouldn't be laughing at this because it's sad. The poor girl's got to live with that. She worked so hard to get that pigeon back to health. Now, a couple things. Pretty small backyard, average for the jolly old England backyards, but maybe take it out front to a park. No.
Just make sure I get this. 1.
Watch this.
2.
Why? Oh. Oh.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay. No, it's bloody not okay.
Right.
It just flew full tilt into that glass door. Full tilt. Why wouldn't you take it up front? Why wouldn't you take it to a park? A poor pigeon didn't stand a chance. Not a fucking helicopter. Can't just go up and away. Has to get some momentum. You know, poor pigeon. It sucks. Is it okay? Is it alive? No, it's not. Okay, now we can move on to something a lot more jollier. This'll make you feel all right. It gets you right in the feels. Go. If it doesn't put a goddamn smile on your face, I don't know what would. I really don't. Look at this little fella. I love him. I want one. But I don't want it to grow up and kill me. Amazing. Isn't that amazing? When I saw that yesterday, I was just all like, that made my day. Cute little orangutan thing you get in a bath. Look at him. So cute. Play it one more time. Go. Just a little bit. Come on. Look at that. Look at him all set it up. Oh, man. Yeah, that's awesome. Just awesome. It makes me smile, feel good. I want a baby orangutan. The only thing is I don't want it to grow up because then it'll kill me or rip my face off. Remember that lady? God, that's got to be going back a while now. Did anybody remember that? Lady had a pet orangutan and they had this great relationship and everything was fine. And then the thing just fucking snapped one day, ripped her face off, yo. Did. True story. Look it up. Sad, but cute little bugger when they're small, aren't they? Okay, Glassy, you wanted to play Let's Rock the lead this will lead us right into hockey. How about our boy Ovechkin here? Face meet glass. Meet Ovechkin. Plays hard, plays tough, that guy. And he's going to beat Wayne Gretzky's scoring record. He is. And I mentioned this before. I was upset about it at first. Like, listen, he really does have to stay healthy, not have any sustain any major injuries. And I really do believe he can do it. And by golly, Alexander, and the determination he's got, he's going to do it. He'll play till he's 50. He'll be the Gordie Howe of the 2021-22 season. I think he's going to do it. I think he signed a new 5-year contract, and I believe he'll be able to pull it off within that contract. And I can't remember. I think it takes him to 43. Glassy, do you know how old he'll be at the end of his 5? He'll be 43. Okay, wow, crazy. And now I hope he does it. I think Wayne actually hopes he does it. And I think any good sports fan and good hockey fan out there would love to see it happen. You know, it'd be something to behold and see. All right. Speaking of hockey, some sad news this week that it came out of the Chicago Blackhawks organization. Unless you live in a bubble, you know what's going on. Kyle. He started off as a John Doe, but Kyle Beach came clean on Wednesday night. He did, and pretty heavily. TSN did an amazing interview with, I forget his name.
Rick Westhead.
Westhead. Thank you, Rick Westhead. I have it written down, but I haven't scrolled to the notes yet. Excuse me. Yeah, exactly. Can you do that one more time while I clear my throat? Perfect. I can't believe I'm getting sick. I'm pissed. If I lose this moneymaker for a couple of weeks, I'm going to be right upset. Okay. But yeah, it was a terrible situation. It was amazing that he came clean. It was an amazing interview on Wednesday night. It was a very emotional day for Kyle Beach. He said it was joy, it was sadness. He cried, he laughed. You know, he did that interview, and it's sad. It's crazy. And so I reached out to my buddy. I can call him that now because he's my buddy. He interviewed Theo Fleury about a year and 3 months ago. Hadn't been doing the show too long, probably only about 6 months or so. And we have a mutual friend. For those who want to know, how the hell does a schlub like Bondzee get big-time Hall of Famer, superstar, 1,000-point getter 20 years ago today, by the way, 20 years. 1,000 point for Theo Fleury, 999 and 1,000. Played against the Dallas Stars in Dallas on this day 20 years ago and scored his 1,000 point. Amazing, simply amazing. Okay, without further ado, folks, I'd like to introduce you to aforementioned superstar of the NHL, gold medalist for Canada, and 1,000 points and 1,000 games played in the NHL. It's Theo Fleury. You ready? Let's go. I can't thank you enough again, man. I wish you nothing but continued success. I know you have your haters out there, but fuck the haters, you know. And never change, Theo. Keep being you. And listen.
Well, did you know that lately?
All right, folks. Listen, it's a real pleasure and an honor to have him back. It's Theo Fleury on Bondzee Live on Trippin' with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. Thanks so much for joining me, man.
Yeah, no worries. All good.
We're just talking. This is your third interview today, and I could understand it being a busy week for you with everything that's come to light with the Chicago Blackhawks, but you're actually in a car dealership waiting for your winter tires to be put on. That's amazing.
Yeah, so... Yeah,
oh,
I have
wow.
I have a good friend that owns 7 dealerships across Western Canada, and so he said, well, my wife, who doesn't want to get in the car unless we have winter tires, said you better get these put on. So I called him, and it's happening. So
yeah. Well, yeah. Right on. I can't believe it because I am the furthest thing from snow. I'm in the desert in California right now, and
love it.
And it's hot here, and I love it. So anyways, you stay safe on those roads. I'm glad you got the winters on. I really do appreciate you coming back on the second time. I think it was well over a year ago now, and you were a fabulous interview. So many kudos from that, and I can't thank you enough for coming back.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's amazing, when you sort of live in this space and the first, when an incident happens, I'm sort of this go-to guy that people want to talk to. So,
yeah. And I thank you for taking the time because it is a heavy, horrible, shitty subject, no matter how you look at it. And obviously we're talking about the Chicago Blackhawks and what happened with, Kyle Beach, and it's finally broke. It took 11 years. Walk me through your emotions of finding out, and how did you find out?
Yeah, well, I caught a bit of a wind of it, the story, but am I surprised? No. Am I shocked? No. When and what happens here is the universe will always put the lesson in front of us until we get it, right? And here's another example of, we just don't get it, right? And how the Blackhawks handled this situation, is horrible, despicable, all these things. And so, my mind always goes to, why aren't we getting this? Why aren't we getting this, right? Because we have We have the Catholic Church, who every day has to talk about pedophilia. We have USA Gymnastics. We have Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the Boy Scouts of America, and the list just goes on
Sadly,
and
the
on,
list
right?
goes on. You're right.
Right. So, obviously we aren't getting it. And why aren't we getting it? Because we don't want to get it, is how I see it. And, this situation could have been completely, avoided, right? As soon as Kyle Beach went to management should have went to the video coach and said, we have this allegation. You are suspended until further investigation. You need to leave. And, the Blackhawks could have went on. The investigation could have been ongoing. They didn't have to tell the media at that point. I understand they were, in a run for, they were in the Stanley Cup Finals. But, and what's interesting, I find, is the president of the Chicago Blackhawks, who's no longer with the Blackhawks, is the guy that should be facing the most heat, because Bowman, Quenneville, Cheveldayoff, all these guys went to him with this complaint, and he didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And because he didn't do anything with it, now they're in the biggest shitstorm ever, right? And so when I say it was avoidable, it was avoidable.
Yeah. So many questions, dude. And I'll try to get through them as quick as possible. Did it hurt even more closer to home knowing that it happened for a team that you played for? Does that really matter?
No. No. You know what? I see this as a societal issue, societal problem. And, the flavor of the week is the Chicago Blackhawks. That's how I see this, right?
Sad.
And in the underbelly of society, we have a huge problem with pedophilia, like massive, huge problem with pedophilia. And we continue, to sweep it under the rug, right? Child and human trafficking is a $150 billion a year industry, okay? And who are the biggest consumers of child trafficking? Pedophiles. Okay.
Yep.
And, I live in a province that has, it's one of the worst places on the planet for this kind of stuff. And, nobody talks about it. Right. And if it does, reach the surface, it gets pushed down very quickly. And so, and it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah,
it's
pretty gross if you think about it at the end of the day.
And the shock value is that there's a 10-year-old girl in Alberta tonight that's going to be trafficked 10 times. She's going to have sex with 10 different men tonight. And that's her life.
Yeah.
Which is, where's the leadership, right? There isn't any. And then that makes you even question more, right? Why?
Were you sick to your stomach when you heard about it and that it happened in the NHL again, after what you've gone through? And then there have been
ours didn't happen in the NHL. Ours happened in the WHL.
Right. I'm sorry. Yeah.
And under the leadership of, the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, which is now Hockey Canada. Right. And, I was involved in a case about a year and a half ago where a guy named Bernie Lynch, who coached junior hockey in Canada for 40 years, and he just got caught. He just got caught last year. So he started coaching in the 80s and, was molesting boys, throughout his whole entire career. And then finally somebody said enough is enough. And so it's ridiculous, right? It's ridiculous. And, like I said, we're not getting the lesson from the universe, right?
It must drive you insane because you came clean so long ago. You've been vocal about this for forever now, it feels like, Theo.
Mm-hmm.
And yet this shit is still going on every single day. And it doesn't matter what sport either. Like you just rhymed off so many, and does it affect you daily and it make you so angry? Or do you have to kind of put that aside and go, I could wake up every day pissed off as hell, or I can just continue trying to fight the good fight?
Yeah. Well, I've done my work, right? I've done the healing stuff that I needed to do so that
Right.
this stuff doesn't affect me, right?
So it
And
doesn't.
and I'm a 40,000 foot view guy, right? I want to figure out a way where we completely eliminate the opportunity and access that these pedophiles have with our kids, right? And you know, the person I feel probably the most sad for and most frustrating for is Sheldon Kennedy, because Sheldon has put a lot of these programs together, and the respect in sport, and he designed a program where if you want to be a new coach, there's a protocol that you have to go through, and all that stuff, and you know what, we're still here. We didn't learn anything from the Sheldon Kennedy experience. We didn't learn anything from the Theo Fleury experience. Why? Because it's still happening, right? And the old saying, "You can't fix stupid," is that's what it is, right? And if I come out as this brash guy who's angry and pissed off, then people are going to label me, "Oh, that guy hasn't done any healing at all," right?
Yeah.
And so it's really it's out of my control. And there's a reason why when I come on a show or do somebody else's podcast, Theo Fleury is an advocate. Well, this is what advocates do. They try to raise the level of the conversation. They try to change the conversation, and that's all I have control over, right? Yeah, I want to go fucking beat the shit out of that guy but me being in jail, it's not gonna, it's not gonna be do anything. And I was angry for a long time,
I bet.
and angry is what kept me drunk and kept me doing drugs and all that stuff. And so, there's a transitional phase that has to happen in your life, or you're gonna struggle. And the bottom line is, I can only affect one person at a time. That's it. And if I get out of that way of thinking, then it's not as effective.
Do you blame the old boys club, Theo? Is that what this stems from? That they didn't go and say something or do something? They obviously said something, but nothing was done.
They panicked. Okay. They panicked. And, and when you panic, you make bad choices and bad decisions. And like I said, this situation was completely avoidable if they removed that gentleman immediately as soon as they got the complaint.
Yeah, I think Tort said it best. It's just one guy. It would have taken one guy to stand up out of all of that group of the hierarchies to say, guys, come on, this is wrong.
But if you look at all these incidences, Larry Nassar, Penn State, Catholic Church, their first inclination is to deny, right? They deny the accusation, right?
Yeah.
And then, somebody starts digging around and doing some investigative reporting and find out it's actually the truth. And when the truth comes out, everybody panics, right? Because you got to protect your livelihood, you got to protect your job, you got to protect your reputation. But look at what happened since. Bowman's gone. Joel Quenville had to
resign,
and Kevin Cheveldayoff got let off. But I guarantee you, his life from here on in is not going to be a lot of fun for him.
Yeah. And I was going to talk to you about all those guys. Are you happy? Is that justice for you and for the Kyles out there?
Justice is when this stops, completely stops. That's justice to me, and in organizations, I don't think the Chicago Blackhawks ever recover from what happened.
Right.
This is a shit stain on their organization. One of the most storied, historic franchise, original six franchises, in our game, and they're not going to recover from this unless all the players move to different teams, and all the people that were involved with the organization are gone, and they start right from scratch. That's the only way they're gonna get out of this.
Are you surprised Cheveldayoff didn't get the same treatment or asked to resign?
I'm shocked. Shocked.
I was too when I saw that this morning.
Every person who was involved in the cover up and didn't do anything should not have the privilege of being part of the NHL ever again.
Does that come down to the
simple
players
as that.
too, Theo, that were on that team? Because they knew. Now they said they didn't know until training camp the following year, but they all knew too, bro, and they hit it.
They didn't know, and they were, there was homophobic slurs in the dressing room, and they didn't know. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, and like I said, I would not want to be Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane right now, going into every single arena and having to do press conferences, because it's no longer about hockey. Nobody's going to be talking about Chicago Blackhawks and how they play and what their systems are or anything else. Every single question is going to be, why didn't you do it? Why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? Yep. Yeah. And they've both dug themselves a hole already. The two of them have already, because they, when you say you didn't know and the report says that everybody knew, you're in big trouble. You're in big trouble. You're in big trouble.
Yeah. So how, I have to ask you this. How high do you think this really goes? And I guess by that, what I'm getting to is does it go to the cream rises to the top? Did Bettman know? Do you think he knew?
Well, I don't know what the protocol is, but I would assume that the protocol would have to go right to his desk, right?
I certainly feel that he knew, and I feel that Bettman is part of this ginormous cover up for the past 11 years. Mm-hmm. Look at how it went unreported, and I'll use Sportsnet as an example. Sportsnet signs $5.3 billion deal with the NHL. All of a sudden, there had to be phone calls or meetings that said, "Yo, this if it doesn't get talked about, it's swept away, it's gone. Hopefully, it'll never come." And look what happened; it did. So ultimately,
well, do you think you think ESPN's happy right now with all the money they just threw out, and this is what they got to deal with? No, they can't be happy. So I'm sure that whoever the head of ESPN Sports has been on the phone with Mr. Bettman for hours at a time, going, "You better do something, or we are pulling. We're out of here, because we can't be associated with with this stain."
Do you see Bettman stepping down?
Not a chance. No.
Now,
But people get angry on social media, and I say, well, if you want to send a message, stop going to games, stop buying tickets, stop buying jerseys, stop buying, video games, and they'll get the message.
And the sad thing is, Theo, we know that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. No.
And they know it too.
Yeah, absolutely. So therein lies the problem. Right?
Sad, but true. And I hate to laugh about it, and we are, but we're laughing because it's disgusting, really. As
hockey players, we're taught about character and integrity and all that stuff, and the only guy that showed that in this whole thing is Kyle Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to Kyle Beach, Theo?
We have not talked on the phone yet, but it's in the process of happening.
Okay, great.
He's in Germany right now. He's playing, and here's another thing, Kyle Beach, 11th overall pick, 50 goal scorer in the Western Hockey League, is playing in the 3rd division in Germany. What does that tell you? What does that tell you when you come out with this stuff?
Yeah. Old Boys Club. Is the Old Boys Club ever going to disappear, Theo? Or is it there forever?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to, I've been so detached from, that group of people for such a long time, and, they basically put me on the sidelines too, right? Because of because of what I brought to the table. And, I know that the Calgary Flames aren't necessarily happy with me with some of the stuff that I wrote in my book, but, the only way I know how to stay sober is honesty, openness, and willingness. And I did my best to tell the story, and I might have burned some bridges, but all I know is that I have 5,875 days of consecutive sobriety, and I have a great life and great friends and great relationships, and every day I'm helping people come to grips with sexual abuse and all that stuff. And so I think I'm doing my part for the greater good of society, and hockey is a distant memory for me. And the work that I'm doing today is 10,000 times more important than what I ever did on the ice. And I would trade my gold medal, Stanley Cup ring, World Junior Championship, all that stuff. I would trade all of that to do the work that I do today, because this is what matters. This is what matters.
Yeah.
And the reason why I went through all that trauma in my life was to get to this place, right? So that I could help people, because without the experience, I can't help people.
Yeah. Congratulations for helping people and coming to terms with everything that you've gone through, and the alcoholism, the drugs, everything. And it's hard. It's a hard life. And I know firsthand of trying to quit alcohol. It's not easy, and we talked before the show, you said it's just ultimately it's a decision. It's a choice, right?
Yep.
And it's so true. You also, congratulations. Today's a big day for you. It was 20 years ago today that you scored, got your 1,000th point in the NHL. That was a huge accomplishment back then. And I know it kind of goes like you would give all that back for what you do now, but getting 1,000 points in the show, especially with the career you had, playing wasted some nights and on drugs, two assists in Dallas, October 29th, 2001. Congrats.
Crazy. Thanks.
20 years, not flies by like that.
Not bad for a guy that wasn't supposed to play one game in the National Hockey League. So,
right.
Do
you still look back and think about that and go, fuck you to everybody who said I'd never make it or wasn't good enough or was too small? There's
a lot of guys that are still trying to pull it out of their ass because I shoved it so far up there, it was never coming back out. So, but
I love it.
The one thing that sort of set me apart from every small guy that tried to make it was, first and foremost, God blessed me with, incredible talent and ability. Right. And the thing that set me apart was my will to compete, and I hated to lose. And I loved playing against the best players in the game head to head. So I really believe it was my competitiveness and my willingness not to back down, that sort of set me apart from all these people. And now, Marty St. Louis in the Hockey Hall of Fame. We have a guy in Calgary named Johnny Gaudreau, who I could eat an apple off the top of his head, and there's more and more little guys in the game, because the game is changed, and it's built around skill, right? Whereas, ours was barbaric, violent, crazy,
Yeah.
And so yeah, the game is designed now for, the smaller player to have success, because there's no hooking, there's no holding, there's no red line,
Right.
You go in front of the net. You're not, they're not breaking sticks over your back like they did back when we played.
Right.
So yeah, it's evolution, right? The kids are in way better shape. They eat better. They take care of themselves. And because each individual player that plays in the National Hockey League is a business.
Yeah.
Right. So you have 23 businesses within the big business of hockey, right? So, and these kids show up at the draft with nutritionists and chefs and, personal trainers and financial planners and an agent and all that. And so, those people are on the payroll, right? They're on the payroll, and they, that guy's responsible for those people, right? So
Yeah.
so it's just the evolution of of life, right?
Definitely.
If we find something better, we're gonna, because everybody's looking for an edge, right? Everybody's looking for an edge, and so, and because we know so much more about health and wellness and all of that, and what I find interesting is it's coming slowly but surely, but how they deal with mental health, I think needs to be way more part of the game than it is right now.
And it looks like it's heading that way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Positive, but you got guys like Robin Lehner, who says, I'm going to start with saying thank you to Kyle Beach. What he has done is courage on the highest level. We all need to be better in supporting each other. I had a really emotional talk with Kyle today. I can't say how much I appreciate you for what you have done the last few days. It goes deeper than that. The Carey Prices, who, you don't really see. All people see is Carey Price, a goalie god, plays for the Habs, plays for Team Canada. They don't think about the daily struggles that some of these superstars can go through.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how good you are. Ultimately, at the end of the day, people suffer from mental illness. And I finally think we're going to start seeing a lot more positiveness come out of this in the NHL. Agreed?
Yeah, 100%. And I subscribe to the fact that 5% is ability. Okay. Everybody can play, everybody can skate, everybody, all of this. And what sets the great players apart from the not so great players is mental toughness and their mental state of mind, how they prepare, how they deal with stress, how they deal with pressure, all of those things. Right.
Yeah.
And the guys that can manage that stuff become superstars, become legends, become hockey Hall of Famers. Those guys, and so why aren't we spending more time on, the mental side of the game? Because I really believe that, that's the most important thing. And then, say what you want about Tiger Woods and what he went through and all that, but there's no athlete on the planet that is more mentally tough than Tiger Woods. And that's why, he's in a debate right now as being the greatest golfer in the history of the sport. Right. And so, teams spend so much money on analytics and all this stuff now. Right. And, there's 8 or 9, 10 coaches on a coaching staff now. And, I don't know why they're not, spending resources on getting these guys mentally well, right, and getting them to perform at the highest level, because the team that has that kind of breakthrough is going to win Stanley Cups. Yep.
Agreed. Speaking of Stanley Cup, Blackhawks owner Rocky Wirtz wrote a letter to Lanny McDonald, chairman of the Hockey Hall of Fame, asking for I hate saying his name. They want his name removed from the Stanley Cup. It's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, isn't he in jail right now?
Yeah.
So, you want a jailbird on the Stanley Cup?
Was Rocky the owner when you played for the Blackhawks?
No, I had Mr. Wirtz.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I had Mr. Wirtz. What a character. What a character.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, he was so good to me, because when I got to Chicago, I was a fucking train wreck, right? So,
yeah.
And he did everything in his power to try to get me the help that I needed. And unfortunately, at that time, I just wasn't ready for the help. But, and I just love seeing those pictures of me with the Black Hawk on my chest, because, I played for 2 original 6 teams, the New York Rangers and Chicago Blackhawks. But I can tell you, the first night I put on that Black Hawk, because I'm an Aboriginal person, and Freddie Sasakamoose, who was the guy that paved the way for all of us Aboriginal kids to have a dream that one day we could play in the National Hockey League. It was a special night to put on that jersey.
That's pretty awesome. Is that your signature, or is that a fake?
That's my sig. That's my sig.
Boy. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Oh, and this was, I just put it up. I forgot while we were, I was congratulating you, but that was when you got your 1,000th point in the NHL 20 years ago today. That's really cool.
I'm old. I'm really old.
You're only as old as you feel, buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
What else? I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you got to get out of here, but do you miss? Do you go and watch hockey at all anymore, Theo, or have you fully kind of removed yourself from that setting?
I'm still interested in, especially what the Calgary Flames are doing, because I live in the city, right?
Yeah.
And I watch as many games as I can on TV. But I'm a big sports fan, period. And I love the Toronto Blue Jays. I love the Toronto Raptors. Still very much, I have a Flames logo pretty much tattooed on my heart, right?
Yeah.
Because, they were the organization that gave me an opportunity, gave me a chance. And for that, I will always be loyal and grateful. Because, I was drafted 472nd in the draft. And because the first year of eligibility, I didn't get drafted, and there was 12 rounds. And then the following year, I got picked in the 8th round, 166th overall. So basically 472 guys were picked before me. And so what I always tell kids who are heading into the draft, it doesn't matter what number you get picked. It's where you finish, right? And right now, as we're talking, I sit 61st in all-time scoring in the NHL. And so,
Incredible.
Getting drafted means you have an opportunity. And what you do with that opportunity is up to you, right?
Yeah.
And when I went to my first training camp in Calgary, there is not one person in that organization that ever thought that I could play in the National Hockey League. And by the time I left my first training camp, they were all believers, right? And so, yeah, you need to make an impression. And like I said, it was an opportunity. And, when I showed up at, in the dressing room, for my first training camp, I didn't walk through the doors. I fucking kicked them down and said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here."
You weren't scared on any level of dudes that are like twice your size. You were just like, fuck them. I'm better than them, or I'm just here to kick ass and do my own job, right?
Well, I knew that the majority of guys in the NHL didn't want to compete at the same level as me, and that was my advantage.
Wow.
Right? Because I was willing to die in order to win, and I knew if the guy I was playing against wasn't willing to go to that length to do it, then I could take him anywhere on the ice, and I knew that he wasn't willing to go to that place.
Yeah.
And that's what gave me the advantage. And, as a guy who's 5'6", 150 pounds, the whole league is 6 inches taller than me, 50 pounds heavier. Right. So how's a guy like pure physics says that I can't have success in the NHL? But, the one thing they didn't measure was the size of my heart and my willingness to compete and win.
Amen to that.
And that was my advantage. And that's what gave me room on the ice, because, the guys didn't know whether I was going to kiss them or cut their eyes out, right? Because both could have happened in the same shift, and it was that unpredictability, that gave me a room on the ice to do what I do best. Yeah.
And you certainly did it best, my friend. You talked the Raptors, the Blue Jays and stuff. I didn't hear the Maple Leafs. Is there any love for the Leafs, or we're
I'll tell you a great story. So before I went to Chicago, that summer, I got a call from Gary Roberts, who was playing for the Leafs, and he said, "Theo, why don't you come to Calgary and play with me and Duendijk?" He says, we need a right winger. He says, "We'll play on the same line." And I said to Robs, I go, "There is no chance in hell that I will ever go to Toronto."
What? Just
No.
the media, the scrutiny, everything? Or is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and I wasn't in the greatest place in my life either, right? And I knew that if I was out in the bars, and if I was out, that it
Wow.
it wouldn't
Would have been a hell of a line if it worked, though, wouldn't it?
I know, because I played with Nui and Robs for quite a few years in Calgary, and we did play together on the line for for quite a long time, and yeah, we had a lot of success. But it would have been interesting because I don't know, maybe I would have been the last piece to the puzzle that would have got him to win a Stanley Cup. And if you win a Stanley Cup in Toronto, like you can just basically write your own ticket for the rest of your life. So
hell yeah. What's going on? Are you paying much attention? Like the Leafs had a great season last year. Again, early exit, first round. Shouldn't have happened, but it did. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Yeah. Off to a horrible start this year. What's going on? Thoughts?
Well, they don't get it, right? So you can have the greatest offensive team in the whole entire league, but if you don't want to learn how to play without the puck, and if you don't want to learn how to defend, this is exactly what happens, right? And I really believe the hardest job that a coach has right now is getting those phenom kids to play without the puck. And a perfect example was I was watching the Oilers play the Flames. First game of the season, or Calgary's first game of the season, was up in Edmonton. And the Oilers were up 4-2 with about 10 minutes left in the period. And I saw Connor McDavid dump the puck in 5 times in one shift. And I went, okay, he's getting it. He's figuring it out. We don't need any more goals. We need to defend, right?
Yeah.
And when your skilled guys get into that mode, then it trickles down to the whole entire team, right? Is that we need to learn how to defend in order to win a Stanley Cup. And a great example was I heard this story about Scotty Bowman. When Detroit hired Scotty Bowman's first call was to Steve Yzerman. And Steve Yzerman was getting 150 points a year, and he was a superstar, but the organization wasn't having success. And so Scotty Bowman said to him, Stevie, I want you to get 80 points a year from here on in, and I want you to be our best defensive player. Well, what happened? Stevie Y won 3 Stanley Cups.
Amazing, eh?
Right? So, these guys come out of junior and college, and they have so much hype around them that they're this offensive guy.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to a guy who played 1,000 games in the NHL, and I have 1,000 points, and I sit 60th all time in the NHL. So you're not going to get points every night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about, if you want more ice time in the NHL, guess what you need to do? You need to become an all-rounded player. You got to learn how to take faceoffs. You got to learn how to kill penalties. You got to learn how to play in the last minute of the game, and that's how you get more ice time, right? So the coach, when he's looking down the bench and he needs a big penalty killer, he needs somebody to defend the lead, you want him looking right at you, right?
Definitely.
And I guarantee you, in Toronto, Sheldon Keefe can't look at Austin Matthews, and he can't look at Mitch Marner because he doesn't trust them. Doesn't trust it, or even Nylander, that they're going to get the job done late in the game when they need to defend the lead.
Yeah.
And I see that team, same old bad habits, turning pucks over and trying to do too much and all those things. And so, that's why they're in the situation that they're in. And because of all of the pressure in Toronto, they're not talking about hockey. They're talking about character. They're talking about the things that they should not be talking about.
Yeah.
Right. But that comes with when you're not having success. And the hype around that team is their expectations are way too high.
Yeah. So the pain and suffering is going to continue, is what you're telling us, Leaf fans.
Well, unless they get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it doesn't look like they're getting anything right now. Holy shit.
Yeah. But it's early on in the season, right?
It's true.
Hopefully this adversity, puts that mirror in front of their face and say, you know what? Yeah, I've been playing the same way since I got here in Toronto, and we've been out every year in the first round of the playoffs. Hopefully they're smart enough to go, oh, maybe I need to change the way I play. Yeah. Maybe it's not about goals and points and assists.
Connor McDavid's the real deal, eh? Isn't that crazy up there? What he's capable of in Edmonton.
Yeah. Well,
it's fun to watch, isn't it?
And I think Because, you know, when I played against Gretzky and Lemieux and all these great players, when they got the puck, they absolutely slowed the game down to their pace. And I think Connor McDavid needs to learn how to do that, because when he gets the puck and he's gone, the guys that are playing with him are still one zone behind him.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? So, you know, like Gretzky wasn't the fastest guy in the world, but when he got the puck, he was so patient and he just let the game come to him.
Yeah.
Right.
So true.
And when you let when you let the game come to you, you know, there's not too many smart guys. Right. And Gretz knew that these guys were going to make mistakes all the time because they panic when Gretz gets the puck and he's like, oh shit, where am I supposed to be? Who am I supposed to cover? And by that time, Gretz has already found him and that guy's in, you know, all alone getting a chance on net. So
yeah. It's been real fun. A couple of quick questions before you go. Are you still playing music, or we got stuff coming up because COVID's kind of, well, hey, I know it's tougher up there in Canada, but are we looking to get back into music? Are we doing something with that?
Yeah. So, you know, we've been planning a second album for a long time, but we all everybody in the band kind of got busy and, you know, we're basically in survival mode. You know, my band guys are they play for a living, right? And so, you know, there was nothing happening, and so, you know, everybody got busy. But, you know, there's a plan to finish this second album and maybe get out on tour. You know, my good friend here.
Can't hear you.
Hang on.
There we go.
Sorry.
That's
got
okay.
a phone. Had another phone call coming in. I have a good friend in Alberta. His name is Gord Bamford, and Gord was planning a fall tour, and I was gonna do 3 or 4 songs at each of his concerts, and that all got pushed to the side too. So I'm hoping that you know, that sort of resurrects itself, and I can get out on tour with Gord, because Gord's a great guy and he does so much incredible work in Central Alberta for charities and all kinds of stuff. And him and I have become really good buddies as well. So
that's cool. And you got the Theo Fleury podcast, which is going well. Are you enjoying that?
I can't hear you.
Check 1 2. Can you hear me now? What happened all of a sudden?
Times in my life. Shit.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad I got you back, because I just wanted to, your podcast, the Theo Fleury podcast. How's that going? Are you enjoying doing that?
Yeah, I absolutely love it. You know, I've had some really awesome guests on, and you know, it just gives me an opportunity to be on the other side. You know, I've been interviewed so many times in my life. You know, now I get to be on the other side of the mic and interview really cool people, interesting people, and we talk. You know, we talk everything. We talk hockey, we talk politics, we talk mental health, we talk trauma. You know, so it's kind of a, you know, I'm kind of like the poor man's Joe Rogan. So
you and me both. That puts me even lower on that totem pole. Thanks a lot. I got to ask you, so you said you get a lot of great guests. For somebody who has Theo Fleury clout, a lot easier. For a schlub like me, it's one of the hardest parts of the show is getting guests.
Yeah.
And good guests. I mean, I could talk to anybody really, but I love interviewing people, but I love interviewing interesting people that have knowledge, and it's not always about knowledge. It's about the full package, which you are. And so it's, if you ever want to throw guests my way, feel free.
Okay, for sure. Absolutely.
Well,
one of my favorite guests that I had was Bill Burr.
No way. That's awesome.
And people are like, well, how the fuck did you get Bill Burr on your podcast? Well, I go to Mario Lemieux's fantasy camp every year in Pittsburgh. And, you know, we spend 5 days there with 60 guys who, you know, support Mario's charity, and we split up into 4 teams and we play this tournament. But at night, you know, there's different events that happen. And so, one of the nights was they hired Bill Burr to do a stand-up comedy act for all the campers there. And then the next day he was actually on my team on the ice. And
wow.
so, we were sitting beside each other in the dressing room and we were chatting, and, this guy's like the huge hockey fan.
Yeah.
And so we exchanged numbers and I texted him and said, "Hey, would you like to come on my podcast?" He said, "Yeah, I'd love to." And so we spent like 2 hours just shooting the shit, talking about hockey and growing up in Boston, being a Bruins fan, a Red Sox fan, a Celtics fan, so it was really good. And he's an amazing guy.
I find him fascinating and funny and angry. Like, he used to be so angry. And I listen to his podcast every week, and he's definitely calmed down, having kids, and he's got some help too. It's and he's been open about it. And he said he couldn't have kids. He knew in his own head he couldn't have kids because he was too fucked up. He was too angry at the world. And
exactly.
I'm gonna have to go and seek that out and watch that. Theo, I cannot thank you enough again. Second time, it's been a real treat having you. And it's almost the same thing. People are like, how the hell did you get Theo Fleury in your show, bud? You're just Bondzee. And, and it's just kind of who you know sometimes.
Yeah.
Jack Reedford, as we mentioned before, is a friend of mine, a friend of yours.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I love Jack. I can't wait to see him again. So
one of the loves of my life was his sister. So
that's right. We talked about that last time. That's awesome.
Yeah. Just a really fantastic person, and we spent a lot of time together, and we're really good friends, and it just didn't go to the next level, which was unfortunate. But I still send her a message every once in a while. How you doing? How's life? And she has 2 beautiful kids, awesome husband, and all that stuff, and they live in a great part of Canada too. So so it's been good. And it's funny because I was on a podcast yesterday with a guy who's an ex-heroin addict, a Jewish guy that lives in New York, and we had a fucking blast. We had a blast yesterday just talking about recovery, and all the fucking all the crazy things we did when we were drinking and doing drugs and all that. And he was great. It was one of the funnest podcasts I've ever done.
Cool. I can only imagine the stories
because it was just raw, and both of us are solid in our recovery, so we're not afraid to talk about some of the crazy stuff that we did and all that stuff. And to me, that's that's the gift of sobriety. Is I don't have to hide anymore, and I don't have to feel guilty about all the stuff that I did. And I've had an opportunity to go back and apologize to people, and so sober is the new sexy. So
well, I'm trying to get there. I'm doing pretty good, but I still have my relapses, and I piss and I get angry and upset at myself, and I guess ultimately shouldn't, because it's a process, and from a lot of alcoholics that I've spoke to, you are going to fail 5, 10, 15, maybe 50 fucking times. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I always say it took me 10 years to get 1 day.
Yeah. Geez.
Right. So, and relapse is part of recovery, unfortunately, but it's part of and as long as you learn from each relapse, eventually you're going to get it. Eventually you're going to get it. So.
And I feel I'm super, super close. Like I've had enough of drinking. I don't even get enjoyment out of it anymore. It's more, it's a crutch, dude. And I don't have to tell you that.
Well, it's a coping mechanism.
Yep.
To suppress the emotional pain and suffering. That's all it is, right? Yeah. And if you don't get to the emotional pain stuff, you're going to have a difficult time, right? And they preach in the program openness, honesty, and willingness, right? And we need to surrender, right? You need to get on your knees, and you got to say, you know what, I'm done, and then just stick to it. And then come up with a daily routine that keeps you sober 24 hours at a time, right? Because that's all we have, right?
Right.
And if I drink tomorrow, then I lose everything. But today, I'm not going to drink.
Right.
That's it. No matter what, I'm not picking up because I know what's going to happen. Like I know exactly what's going to happen, right?
One turns into many more real quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to end up in some cocaine den in Colombia looking for white specks on the floor. That's where I'll go, right?
Yeah.
So, and I've worked way too hard, and my kids actually like me again, and my wife.
That's important.
My wife wants to be with me, and so that's ultimately that's what it's about.
Hell yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough again, man. I wish you nothing but continued success. I know you have your haters out there, but fuck the haters, and never change, Theo. Keep being you. And listen.
Well, did you know that stupidism is a form of liberalism?
I love your Twitter account, dude. You're an open book. You're honest and real, and that comes from being sober. And and it gets you some haters for sure. But like I said, screw them and never change. And you are a real treat. You can follow Theo Fleury on Twitter. It's at Theo Fleury 14. Your band name, I don't have it written down.
Theo Fleury and the Death Valley Rebels.
That's right. I love it. And the Theo Fleury podcast, which you can find on all the streaming services.
Awesome.
You're the best, man. Thanks again for joining me. It was a real last minute thing. I just emailed you last night and you're like, I'm busy. And then you're kind enough to take some time to join me. So thanks again, man.
Anytime, man. Always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you, Theo. Take care. It's a real treat. Buddy. All right.
See ya. Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Lest anybody think that was live, it was from earlier today, and I'm upset with myself because I pride myself on trying to be the best and perfect, and I'm OCD out the ass. The fact that I loaded in the goddamn wrong fucking version today because I edited out, we had a little glitch for a second. Well, the phone call, which I could have taken out, you wouldn't even know. And then we lost. I could hear him. He couldn't hear me. And it was about 1 minute and 8 seconds. And God damn it. It pissed me off that I put in the wrong version today, but I was so excited. It was. That's what happens. Sometimes it's a big get, okay? Especially with what's going on, what happened with the Chicago Blackhawks and Kyle Beach and everything. And TSN coming forward and being the network to step up to the plate and break this, and Sportsnet being pussies and not, and anyways, it was amazing that it was a last minute get. It was late last night, and I was just like, I know I had Theo on a year or 3 months ago, approximately, and I was like, I wonder if he'd be cool to remember me even because he does a lot of interviews. This is his job now. And like he said, he would rather not give it back, but he loves more what he's doing now than he ever did before. The gold medal, the Stanley Cup, the getting drafted, even making it 1,000 games, 1,000 points. It's a pretty amazing career if you think about it. And also a horrid career in the sense of sexual molestation, having to hide from it, the booze, the drugs that he put into his body, and the underground world that he went into because he was so fucked. And I'm pretty fucked from what I just saw a kid get hit and killed by a train. I didn't have nobody sexual assault me. I can't even begin to fathom what that would do to a person. I know what it did to me from seeing my traumatic incident and how it royally fucked me up. When you watch a kid get hit and killed by a train, 22-year-old, they say kid, it's not, but it's still a kid. He's 22. He's sitting there on the tracks, mind his own business. Probably not the smartest spot to sit, but he's fucked up. He was wasted. Sitting there. God damn it, I fucked up tonight. I got too drunk. My girlfriend hates me. I got kicked out of the bar. Wham! I fucking saw it. Then I found him. 10 minutes later, 200 yards away. fucked me up. Nobody should see that, bro. Doesn't even get. And that's the thing, though. You can never say that. And I almost did. But yeah, I was going to say, you can't. It doesn't compare to what Theo went through. You can't compare the nonsense and the madness. Mental health is mental health. And whether you got sexually molested as a child, as a teen, as an adult, whether you saw somebody get hit and killed by a train, whether you went to Afghanistan and watched your friends die, your comrades, maybe killed somebody over there and fucked you up. You can't put, it's just not, it doesn't compare. This shit needs to stop. More people need to be able to feel free to come forward and talk about their problems. I think it would solve so many issues in this world. Sadly, it's one of those things that it's a stigma. We don't like to talk about it. We're scared. I hid from it forever. It's probably why it fucked me up so much. I just drank and drank and drank, and I ran like Forrest Gump. But what made it proper in my brain was you run 10, 15, 18 kilometers a day. Go home and fucking drink, bro. It's okay. I can run from your problems tomorrow and literally run. Forrest Gump run and run in your brain. Caught up to me, and it caught up to me hard. It really did. Thankfully, I never hit rock bottom, though, and I am to this day, I'm blessed for that. Anyways, it's enough. I can't thank Theo enough. Whether you love him or hate him, I know he's got his different views than most of us out there, you know. But listen, at the end of the day, that motherfucker's been through more than you, and you too. Okay? And he might not fully believe in this and this and this. And you like chocolate ice cream, he likes vanilla. You like strawberry shortcake, and he likes blueberry pie. It's okay. We're allowed to have different beliefs. Here's what I believe. Don't judge a book by its cover. Love yourself. And then love others. And just be kind to others. It's pretty simple. This world would be so much better. That's all I got. I can't thank Theo Fleury enough for being super honest and so cool. And it was a tough. Listen, I talked to him for 15 minutes before that interview even started this morning when I talked to him, and we had a wonderful conversation. He's such a cool dude. And he does have his haters. You all believe in different shit. He believes in his beliefs. You're Catholic, the other person's not. You're a Muslim, the other person's not. Just fucking be friendly at the end of the day and love one another. Love yourself, and then this world will be so much fucking better. I know this. Peace and love. Thanks for watching Bondzee Live and Tripping with Bondzee on YouTube and the Dean Blundell Network. That was a day. It was a day. I feel better inside and mentally and physically for having spoken to Theo today. Again, put your shit aside. You can't always judge a book by its cover. That dude's been through a lot of shit. We've all been through a lot of shit. He's honest and real. And I thank him for coming on the show today. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Again, love yourself, love one another. Peace and love. Bye.
Just off of that, and that's what's crazy to me is it's multiple people. This wasn't a one-man decision. It's multiple people. I just don't get why one guy couldn't just stand up and say, you know what? No, this is wrong. To me, hockey and things that go on in the locker room, all the situations you go through, sure, it happens a lot during the year. This is totally different. This is sexual assault, which is it casts a shadow over the game of hockey. And that's what kind of is crazy to me, that one man couldn't stand up and say, you know what, no way. We have to get this straightened out right now.
Walk down the hallway and walk him out the door. How difficult?
Right away.
How difficult would that have been?
Right away, and push him out the door.
Again, we assume right now